All right, we are back again, live and direct. It is Saturday, the 17th of May, the year 2025 in the Western calendar, 6265 in the Atlantic calendar, to which we have realigned our cultural clock. Welcome to the seventh millennium. It is a pleasure to be with you today. And I am the early one checking in today. I did send out enough notices, and hopefully we will be joined very shortly by a lot of people. What I am going to do is I am going to put up a PowerPoint presentation that I have prepared for today. And I hope you find it to be exciting. Bear with me here, and I will have this PowerPoint presentation up and running. I hope everybody is having a good day today. If you're not having a good day, then I am glad you're with us, because we're going to make sure you have a good day today. So bear with me here. I've got a couple of buttons to push to turn this on, and this is one to share the PowerPoint. Now I've got to make sure my desktop, I did all this a little while ago, I had to do it a second time, make sure my desktop is large enough to be able to show you, and you should be able to see the PowerPoint on your screen. No, not yet. Bear with me. You should be able to see the PowerPoint on your screen at this given time. So we are live and direct, and I'm going to go ahead and begin today's discussion. We're going to be talking, and I will have time today to answer all of your questions who do want to be part of it. I do see Terry and her guests have checked in nice and early. Eric Glenn is in the house. I do see Ken is in the house. So we are building up our collective. So the first thing I'm going to do before we get to your Q&A, I'm going to show you about half of the panels that I put together for this lecture that I am preparing, and it is entitled "A Year Against Cancer with Living Superfood Solutions." So you let me know if you have any problem following the lecture. I will do the best I can to make sure it is correct. We are, of course, today broadcasting also on YouTube. So here are key themes you will get in today's lecture. Number one, the changing nature of cancer over the centuries. The West's terrible crisis of cancer diagnosis. In fact, I got a call today from a good brother in Ohio, and he mentioned that his doctor, who has been his friend, who has been his personal doctor for, I think, some 50 years, told him what might or might not be good news about that. I'm not going to go into the details of that. Environmental stressors as triggers of the crisis. We're talking about pharmaceutical drugs that are shown to worsen the crises or to cause cancer. We're going to be talking about, is cancer a minor disease? What do we know? Supplements and herbs for a cancer diagnosis is on our agenda for today. Nutrition and cancer risk reduction. And cancer develops on a subcellular level. We're going to investigate that level. New frontiers in cancer treatment is really exciting. We're going to share that with you. And prevention is the first cancer therapeutic. So that is what we have on the table today. I want to begin with, what do experts say about cancer? There is nothing in the natural environment that can cause cancer. So it has to be a man-made disease, down to pollution and changes to our diet and lifestyle. Cancers are limited to societies that are affected by modern lifestyle issues, such as tobacco use and pollution resulting from industrialization. That quote was from University of Manchester professor Rosalie David. Let's go forward. We need to focus on prevention and early detection. rather than just treating cancer after it's developed. That's the key to making a meaningful difference in the fight against cancer. From Dr. Norman Sharpless, director of the US-based National Cancer Institute. Almost every health professional and most medical consumers know that the cause of over 70% of malignancies is due in some way related to what we eat. Denatured food, in fact, is a main source of breast and colorectal cancer, as well as of lung cancer in non-smokers. Every year, more medical and scientific evidence accumulates, revealing that it is what we take in as food has a tremendous influence on whether we will develop cancer and whether we can cure it once malignant symptoms arise. From Charlotte Gerson, from the book, The Gerson Miracle. After approximately 2 decades and several $billion among the various types of cancer that account for 78% of the incidence, the upward trend in survival rates has not exceeded a few percent. A far gloomier picture than what then has been generally conveyed to a hopeful public by our leading cancer research institutions. From Daniel Greenberg, journalist and Science News section editor. Couple more excerpts. These are very important. Alcohol, whether consumed regularly or only on special occasions, takes a toll on your body, including causing cancer. That from Dr. Pranoti Mandrekar from the University of Massachusetts Chan Medical School. And here's another quote, because I really wanted to drive this point home today. This quote from the US Dietary Guidelines: even low amounts of alcohol, less than a single drink a day, increase cancer risk. I personally have a 0 alcohol limit. I do not consume it, have not consumed it for quite some time. And to me, this is very powerful information. There's a lot more we have to share. Let's continue. A normal body has the capacity to keep all cells functioning properly. It prevents any abnormal transformation and growth. Therefore, the natural task of this cancer therapy is to bring the body back to that normal physiology, or as near to it as possible. And that is from Dr. Max Gerson. Dr. Max Gerson testified in Congress, before Congress, in the 1930s, early 1930s, about how he cured cancer by using raw food nutrition. We're going to be talking more about that. And we're going to close with this quote from your brother: "You strive to do your best. And when these seemingly conflicting values between what you know and what you do appear, you must grow to trust your intuition to make appropriate choices. The key is to have a master blueprint for maintaining your preferred healthy lifestyle pathway." So we're going to go into this. Let's talk about the changing nature of cancer over the centuries. So what is the problem? In Daniel Greenberg's eyes, it is that science is in danger of losing its soul through a steady ethical erosion and the misuse of the trust and confidence placed in it by the American people and their political representatives. He states that, quote, "by virtually every relevant measure, the United States leads the world in the financing, quality, and volume of research, and it appears bound to maintain and increase its supremacy so far into the new century," unquote. Yet, those involved in the science enterprise are plagued by fear and paranoia, as exemplified by the self-serving myths of a, quote, golden age, unquote, of government largesse in the past. Let's go forward. The scariest words you will never want to hear. Greenberg's book recommends several fixes for the deteriorating healthcare research and development situation, which suggests, among other things, that, quote, journalists should stop acting as cheerleaders for science and become informed and skeptical critics, particularly of the shrill Washington lobbies for science. 2, Congress should move beyond its uncritical pandering to science and instead exercise real oversight and force the executive to institute real spending priorities. And 3, Greenberg also recommends several institutional reforms, including a breakup of the ossified elephantine National Institutes of Health. A failed war on cancer. The war on cancer initiated in the United States with the National Cancer Act of 1971, aimed to find a cure for cancer through increased research and funding. Signed into law by President Richard Nixon, the act granted the National Cancer Institute broad authority to plan and develop a national cancer program that included NCI, other research institutes, and federal and non-federal programs. The act also established the procedure for submitting NCI's annual budget proposal, called the Professional Judgment Budget, which was transmitted directly from the National Cancer Institute director to the president and Congress. Despite significant progress in understanding cancer biology, risk factors, treatments, and prognosis for some types of cancer, such as childhood leukemia, the overall cancer mortality rate has remained disproportionately high. The act was intended to improve patient access to prevention and early detection, but progress in reducing overall cancer mortality has been slow. Critics argue that the war on cancer has not lived up to its promise, pointing to the lack of a definitive cure and the continued high mortality rates. While the National Cancer Act of 1971 has led to a monumental infusion of money into cancer research and a small set of advancements in cancer research and treatment, the war on cancer has not yet found a definitive cure and is thus regarded by some as a failure. Let's continue. In 2024, and if anybody has any questions, you can unmute yourself at any given point. Feel free to jump in. This is not a one-way conversation that we have on Saturdays. This is an interplay. But I will say I'm very proud of what I have put together in this research and this short PowerPoint presentation. I'm hoping it will convince you to purchase the book, A Year Against Cancer. Let's pick this up. In 2024, an estimated 2,001,140 new cases of cancer were expected to be diagnosed in the U.S., and 611,720 people would die from the disease. The most common cancers, listed in descending order according to estimated new cases in 2024, are breast cancer, prostate cancer, lung and bronchus cancer, colon and rectum cancer, melanoma of the skin, bladder cancer, kidney and renal pelvis cancer, non-Hodgkin lymphoma, endometrial cancer, pancreatic cancer, leukemia, thyroid cancer, and liver cancer. The cancer mortality rate is higher among men than women. 173.2 cases per 100,000 men and 126.4 cases per 100,000 women. When comparing groups based on race, ethnicity, and sex, cancer mortality is highest in non-Hispanic Black men, 208,000.3 or 208.3 per 100,000 cases, and lowest in non-Hispanic Asian Pacific Islander women at 82.3 per 100,000. As of January 2022, there were an estimated 18.1 million cancer survivors in the US. The number of cancer survivors is projected to increase to 22.5 million by 2032. But the problem with that is that the number of cancer survivors is largely due to the huge number of diagnoses. And the rate of growth of diagnoses is unfortunately so high that we do expect a number of people to survive to 6 years. Let's be clear about that with cancer diagnosis. Going forward, approximately 40.5% of men and women in the United States will be diagnosed with cancer at some point during their lifetimes, based on 2017 to 2019 data. 40.5%. That represents 2 of every 5 people in the United States will be diagnosed with cancer. That is unacceptable. I usually tell people when it was 1 out of every 3 people in 2018, I used to tell people, look to your left, look to your right. If it's not them, then it's going to be you. Well, now it's gone from 1 out of 3 to 2 out of every 5 people. So you're looking 2 people to your left and 2 people to your right. If there are 5 people in the room, it is expected that one of them will be diagnosed with cancer during their lifetime. And for our children, the diagnosis rate is even higher. What many people don't understand is how pharmaceutical chemicals, pharmaceutical drugs are often cytotoxic. Cancer chemotherapy is a treatment designed to kill or inhibit the growth of cancer cells, but it also has cytotoxic effects on normal, healthy cells. Chemotherapy drugs primarily target rapidly dividing cells, a characteristic of cancer cells. However, it can inadvertently affect other fast dividing cells in the body, such as those in the bone marrow, gastrointestinal tract, and hair follicles. In fact, we find after our stem cell research that the cells in our gastrointestinal tract, the lining cells, the epithelial cells, are the fastest growing cells in the body. The cytotoxic impact of chemotherapy leads to several side effects, including myelosuppression, which results in decreased blood cell production, causing anemia, increased infection risk, and bleeding issues. Gastrointestinal toxicity is common, manifesting as nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and mucositis due to damage to the gut lining. Alopecia, or hair loss, is another frequent side effect, and many of us recognize these side effects of chemotherapy. Moreover, some chemotherapy agents are associated with long-term risks, including the potential development of a secondary cancer, such as leukemia, years after treatment. Advances in cancer treatment have led to targeted therapies that aim to minimize damage to normal cells by focusing on specific molecular targets in cancer cells. Ongoing research seeks to enhance the therapeutic index of chemotherapy, maximizing its effectiveness against cancer while reducing its cytotoxic effects on healthy tissues. Let's continue to go forward. We welcome all of your questions and/or comments. And if you have a question or comment, you can just put your hand up, and I will look to you and answer your question as soon as you do present it. We're going forward. The relationship between pharmaceutical exposure and cancer risk is complex, but certain medications have been definitively linked to increased cancer incidence. That from Dr. David J. Hunter. We go forward. Legal drugs that can cause cancer. Now, this is where the report gets a little tough on me, because I'm going to be citing the names of these drugs, and it's always a little bit difficult to pronounce the names, but I'm going to do my best. And when I'm wrong, you can just laugh and we'll keep going. Plain and simple. In their published report, Carcinogenicity of Psychotropic Drugs, Amerio et al. Found 63.6% of antidepressants were associated with carcinogenicity, specifically mirtazapine, sertraline, paroxetine, citalopram, and escitalopram, duloxetine, and bupropion. It's going to get even tougher. Sorry about that. 90% of antipsychotic agents were associated with carcinogenicity. All agents were associated with carcinogen except clozapine. 70% of benzodiazepines, hypnotics, were associated with carcinogenicity, specifically clonazepam, zolpidem, zolpidem, diazepam, esopiclone, oxazepam, and midazolam. 25% of amphetamines and stimulants were associated with carcinogenicity, with methylphenidate specifically associated. 85.7% of anticonvulsant drugs, mood stabilizers, were associated with carcinogenicity, with only one agent, lamotrigine, not associated with carcinogenicity. Those associated with carcinogenicity were valproate, carbamazepine, gabapentin, pregabalin, oxcarbazepine, and topiramate. And I think I might be done with this. Let's go forward. Additionally, I have included a list of over 30 drugs that have been shown to cause cancer in the book that I just recently released called A Year Against Cancer. Let's continue. Environmental stressors as triggers of the crisis. Exposure to arsenic in drinking water is a major public health concern, and long-term exposure is associated with an increased risk of various cancers, including skin, lung, and bladder cancer. That quote is from the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences. Ultraviolet radiation from the sun is the primary cause of skin cancer, and reducing exposure can significantly lower the risk of developing this disease. From the American Cancer Society. Of course, there is also the problem with reducing exposure to sun is also now become a major cause of what's known as seasonal affective disorder, or vitamin D3 deficiency. Asbestos exposure is strongly linked to the development of mesothelioma, a rare and aggressive cancer that affects the linings of the lungs, chest, and abdomen. That, from the World Health Organization, benzene, a common industrial chemical, is a known human carcinogen and has been linked to an increased risk of leukemia and other blood cancers. From the International Agency for Research on Cancer, tobacco smoke contains numerous carcinogens, and exposure to secondhand smoke is estimated to cause thousands of lung cancer deaths annually among non-smokers. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Environmental exposures to carcinogens are responsible for a significant proportion of cancer cases, highlighting the need for effective public health interventions. From the American Cancer Society, Cancer Facts and Figures 2019. The evidence linking environmental pollutants to cancer is compelling. It underscores the importance of reducing exposure to these harmful substances from the World Health Organization 2016. Carcinogenic substances in the environment can lead to increased cancer incidence, particularly in vulnerable populations, emphasizing the need for stricter regulations that from the National Cancer Institute, environmental factors in cancer. There is more. The link between environmental carcinogens and cancer is well established, necessitating a proactive approach to environmental health and safety. U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA 2017, from a document entitled The Health Effects of Environmental Pollution. Reducing exposure to environmental carcinogens is crucial for cancer prevention and requires a collaborative effort among governments, industries, and communities. From the International Agency for Research on Cancer 2018, from a document entitled IRIARC Monographs on the Evaluation of Cancer or Carcinogenic Risk to Humans. Environmental carcinogens are a significant contributor to the global burden of cancer, with many exposures occurring in occupational settings or through pollution. From the International Agency for Cancer, World Health Organization, the link between environmental exposures to carcinogens and cancer risk is well established, highlighting the need for public health initiatives to reduce exposure. From the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, reducing exposure to known carcinogens in the environment is crucial for cancer prevention and public health. American Cancer Society. Many cancers can be prevented. As you see, we're focusing in now. Many cancers can be prevented by reducing exposure to environmental carcinogens, emphasizing the importance of regulatory measures from the National Cancer Institute. So on that note, I'm going to take a pause right here. And we're now going to maybe switch directions here. But I do want to let you all know that I am here today to answer your questions that you might have on what I believe to be a very critical topic. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to just pause this presentation for just a second. I'm going to pause this, escape, and you and I are live here, and I'm going to stop sharing this. And you and I are live in our PowerPoint presentation. And I'm going to ask each and every one of you, if you don't mind, can I at least get you to introduce yourselves to everyone else? Let's begin with you, Eric. Let's begin with you, Ken. You are always prepared. And I can't hear you. You're muted. Eric, would you like to unmute yourself? Okay, we have you up, Ken.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ken Ebacher. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, and I had a particular question for you, Katie, on this one, because here at this particular facility, they have a lot of highly processed foods. They have a pretty good salad bar, but I'm just kind of in a situation where, like, what do I pick? As to eat as healthy as I can, and so I was wanting to get some advice from you all, and basically that.
Well, I see where you're coming from. I did see the picture you posted up today. Number one, the salad bar is your best ally in that situation. Yeah. And you do want to have friends and allies. Two, make friends with the people in the kitchen to the best of your abilities. Get on first name basis, make a joke with them every time you see them, because they are going to be insiders potentially working on your behalf. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, number 3, don't rely on the federal government, specifically the U.S. Army, to maintain your health. They're not equipped to do so. I am not going to accuse them of being part of the conspiracy because I think this is not their largesse. But unfortunately, a lot of people are going to donate food to the U.S. Army, and the food that tends to be donated to the U.S. Army is going to be crap food from Kellogg's and Post and all. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So other than that, take your supplements, eat as much raw, vegan, fresh food as you possibly can, and beat them. Here's the thing. An anti-cancer nutritional diet is also an anti-autoimmune diet. It is also an anti-cardiovascular disease diet. That's why focusing in on cancer is a good area, a good productive area of research for me. Because quite simply, in preventing cancer and deliberately preventing cancer, you have prevented yourself from so many other diseases. Cancer is a metabolic disorder. Maybe we'll get a little bit deeper into metabolic disorders in today's conversation, but metabolic disorders are pandemic. Almost everyone who is not healthy in America has a or more than one metabolic disease. And when we take out hypertension, when we take out diabetes, when we take out high triglycerides, high cholesterol, which is really not high cholesterol, it's an imbalance in the cholesterol. When we take out overweight, obesity, when we take out kidney failure, when we take out disruption to the gut microbiome, when we take out non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and when we take out cancer, we've pretty much taken out almost all diseases. So the anti-cancer lifestyle and diet is an anti-everything diet. Did you have a follow-up comment or question, or anybody else? Eric, I see you announced. Did you want to talk to us today?
Hey, Brother Kitty, how you doing, man?
You know I'm doing all right. It's always great to hear from you today, Eric. I hope you are in great spirits. Talk to us now, brother.
Well, first of all, I wanted to report that I've down to close to 20 pounds from the time that I left Las Vegas, and I'm very encouraged about that. So it's the most weight that I've lost since ever. So I just want to thank you for that. Yeah.
Now, let me just make this clear because I'm going to be bragging about you. Since you left Las Vegas and came back to Columbus, Ohio, you have lost an additional 20 pounds. Am I getting that correct?
No, a total of 20 pounds.
Okay, total since you came to Las Vegas and then went back home.
Yes.
Congratulations. All of that in just a little bit over a month.
Yeah, a little bit over a month, and we're at pace to lose about 10 pounds a month.
Awesome. Man, I am incredibly impressed with you.
Take a bow, brother.
Talk to us now. Yeah, hey, no, I know when you were out here, you were cutting out the many different medications on your own. I hope you don't mind if you can maybe take a second and tell your story to anyone who will be listening, Ken.
Well, when I came out to Las Vegas, I was on 14 different medications, and since that time, from the time that I was in Las Vegas to the time that I left, which was 2 weeks, I went from 14 to 8 medications, and now I'm down to 5 medications.
Wow, that's great, my brother.
Yeah. So right, and the supplements have really helped a lot. The gabapentin that I was taking, I no longer take that. Thank God I'm not taking that.
Oh, that was horrible. What was the gabapentin for?
That was for the nerve. It was for the peripheral neuropathy.
That's right, peripheral neuropathy. And we did substitute, I distinctly remember we went through and we substituted some natural supplements for the peripheral neuropathy. You say you have gotten quite a bit of relief from that?
Oh, absolutely. About 95% relief. There's some twinge of sticking, but nothing like it was before. Absolutely. In so much that I'm not taking gabapentin any longer. And I shared that with my doctor yesterday.
Good, good, good. I'm loving the testimony. Do you have anything else you want to share with us?
Yeah, I have a question for
Yes.
you. You talked about the dangers of tobacco. My question is the dangers of marijuana, because here in the Midwest, they've legalized marijuana, they've got dispensaries, and I just want to find out if in your research, have you found out any dangers of marijuana use?
That's a very, very good question. I'm glad you asked that. Number one, I did write the book, and the books are all available for anyone who wants to do any further research on any given topic. There are 60 books now, so we're on a roll. The danger with marijuana is not in the cannabis. It's not in the hemp. It's not in the THC. It's not in the CMB, cannabidiol, I think it's called CMB. I don't think that's right, but I'll get it in my head. It's the danger is in carbonizing the herb and sucking it into your lungs. The herb is a gift from the Almighty, and it's been decriminalized. They know it doesn't cause disease, but they also know that we do not burn herbs and suck them into our lungs. So the process of burning the herb and sucking it into your lungs, number one, it changes the chemical molecular structure of the molecules that are in the herb or the cannabis that we want to have as healing agents. It is connected to the, what's the word? The cannabinoid, the body's biocannabinoid system. That's one of the 18 systems of the body. So it works in harmony with the cannabinoid system. But what it does is it relaxes the cannabinoid system. So therefore, if a person needs it therapeutically for pain or whatever, they can use it and it's helpful. But the problem is, number one, it's carcinogenic when you heat it, and you're creating it now into tars and other liquids. And number two, quite simply, I don't necessarily need to walk around with my computer slowed down, which is the mechanism of consuming cannabinoids and alcohol. They both impact the glutamate uptake. I'm not going to go too deep into details, but they affect the glutamate uptake between nerve cells. And so it's as if you are taking memory out of your computer. Now, if you need that to hide pain or to mask pain or so, that's where it's very beneficial. But I do not smoke marijuana, and I recommend to people who do smoke it, you need to find another way to deliver it if you need it. You need to find another way to deliver it into your system other than burning it and sucking it into your lungs. Did you have a follow-up comment or question, or what do you think?
Yeah, well, thanks for that. What I read somewhere along the way was that the number of carcinogens in marijuana are like 256 carcinogens. Is there? Can you validate that at all?
I can't, not just in a moment, validate it, but I will say this much: that the carcinogens are not caused by the hand of God, which is grooming that seed to where it becomes the mighty plant that it is. It's an awesome plant. It has 35 different medicinal uses. But the problem is that the hand of God did not create these carcinogens. It was the fire. Now, I guess, I don't know, is this a joke or is this a complex metaphor? But when we talk about the hand of God nurturing that plant to which grows and it comes back to us and heals us, or the fire which turns a healthy plant into a carcinogen, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, yes, I think I do. Yes. One other question I got for you. I got a friend of mine that lives in California, and he has just had a brain surgery where he had a tumor behind his eyes, and he said that they removed the tumors, and that the actual the cancer had went into his bloodstream. So now he has cancer of the blood. Anything that I could share with him about what it is that you're doing, and any way that he can get any relief from knowing that he's got this blood disorder?
Yeah, I had one other patient, actually two other patients that had multiple myeloma. So that's when the cancer goes into their bloodstream. It's a complicated situation. I do address it to some degree in the book, A Year Against Cancer. So number one, I definitely want to recommend he gets the book and he reads the book thoroughly and reads the book and follows all the advice of stopping all types of cancer from growing in his body. Number two, I'm going to recommend he does what you did, that he comes to Las Vegas and that he spends time. Let me show him the healing power of the kitchen. You know now what the healing power of the kitchen is. Michael knows the healing power of the kitchen. The kitchen is a very powerful place, especially when one knows how to use it for healing. So other than that, he can call me. He definitely doesn't want to go on pretending as if this never happened. So if he calls me, least comes to shove, we can do a 1-hour consultation. Because here's the thing. He may have he did get the surgery. So there's cut, burn, and poison, which is surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy. He may have gotten more than just the surgery. But here's the thing, Eric. Did the doctors turn off the process by which this carcinogen grew within his body? I really doubt it. So therefore, they are expecting him to return to them in the near future or after 6 years when he has been cured of cancer. They are expecting him to return to them with the same diagnosis in a different place in his body. That's unfortunately, but that's unfortunate, but that's the way this system has been rigged to work against all of us.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Anybody else have any questions? Michael, maybe you might want to share your testimony or any other questions. I'm here for you, our listening audience, and we have a limited amount of time that we are together until next week. Now, I am going to say this, if you don't mind. I'm going to make a pitch because I do want this book, A Year Against Cancer, to get out here in as many people's hands as possible. If you believe that this book could be helpful and useful to you and your community, then I'm going to recommend it to you and your community. I also am an author of a number of different books. Living Superfood Solutions has recently been put out. Disaster preparedness for World Wars 5 and 6. But I'm also very, very proud of this new book, The Stem Cell Revolution. I know, Eric, you have seen the book and held it in your hands. I think you've got a copy of the book. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah, The Stem Cell Revolution. Because with the stem cell, we not only have a wonderful, powerful healing agent, curing agent, but with stem cells, we have the ability to rejuvenate. And rejuvenate means to go back before the period where all of these adult onset disorders and diseases started to affect us. We can go back before that. We can make the body younger and younger and younger. I inadvertently did this after I recovered from being hit by an automobile. I actually, when I finished healing, I actually had reversed my aging about 20 years. And I was very, very surprised and motivated by discovering that. And now I have focused on longevity as a part of my lifestyle. I have published 3 books on longevity since then. And longevity is a complex situation, but then it's not so complex if we understand the complex rules of natural health. So I do want our listeners, please do, you've been given the invitation to join this Saturday forum, and I'm going to encourage all of you to join it. I'm not going to exclude people who cannot pay, although we realize that people who cannot pay or will not pay, it is a bit problematic, but Kitty, suck it up. It can work out and it can become self-perpetuating. If I made you feel guilty, maybe that will help. Anybody got any comments or questions?
Mm-hmm.
Is Michael going to talk to us today, Ken, or is he going to or Eric, or is he going to boycott us?
I don't know. Is he online?
He is online. Hopefully he'll join us any second now. Ken, do you have any questions?
I think that's the basic thing that I already asked on there is just
about your nutrition.
It's kind of like I just wanted to get some idea about what you do sometimes when you're in a situation where you have, I guess, more limited options.
Yeah. Well, what I do, number one, well, I think I do what I just told you to do. Number one, I'm strictly vegetarian. So no matter what the circumstances, if somebody's going to be putting meat or even fish or eggs or dairy on the table for me to eat, I'm not going to eat it. But I prepare myself for this by doing extended water fasts. Eric knows what I'm talking about. Terry knows what I'm talking about. We do the extended water fast. So for at least 5 days, I can refuse all meat, all of these things that I don't eat, as long as I can get access to pure, clean drinking water. I'm going to be all right. In fact, I even exercise more intensely when I'm on my detox fast than I exercise regularly throughout the year. So I can be prepared to go 5 days before I have to find food. I've even done 7-day and 10-day water fast. It's a little more difficult, but I've been able to do it. I encourage people to try this out. The benefits of water fasting, maybe we can go to that part of the lecture right now, because it really is awesome. But the benefits of water fasting and resisting is tremendous. So hold out, Brother Ken. Hold out to the best of your abilities. And as I said, eat as much of that raw salad as you possibly can get in your body, and enjoy, enjoy, enjoy.
Hey, Kitty,
Yes.
can I jump in for 1 minute?
Okay. I do welcome your conversation, Terry. We have you in the house with a whole bunch of women. Wow, that house looks familiar.
Yeah. So we have our next set of folks like Eric and Michael enjoyed. So we have.
All right. Introduce everybody, please.
I'll let them.
Hi, so I'm Nina from London.
I'm Celeste. We're from London.
And I'm Nikki.
Also, and Nikki from London, Celeste from London, and Nina from London. Why, excuse me, why are you 3 hanging out in my kitchen with Terry?
Good, isn't it?
It just tastes good.
No, we're here for a bit of a detox and also to maximise our health. So we thought the best place was to be with you, Terry. I'm Nikki.
All right.
Hi, yes, I've got some conditions called fibromyalgia, and I'm that, which means I can't eat gluten. So hoping to reverse those things with the diet.
Now I need you to speak up just a little bit. You have the diagnosis of fibromyalgia. You also had another autoimmune disorder. And when you got here, I actually realized, and we need to do a one-on-one counseling, that you actually have a few more other serious medical conditions. So what we're going to do is use the raw food to reset your digestive system. Now, Eric and Michael just went through what you went through, and you heard Eric's testimony. It's really quite impressive. What with the raw food diet, we're going to reboot your system. Now, you've just been here one day of eating the food now so far. And so that's really kind of early to be able to determine what your body is going through. Have you noticed any, I guess the only thing you would notice at this particular point would be emptying the digestive system. Did that happen? And you don't need to be too descriptive. Celeste?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. But we're going to go at it today. So, did you, and Nikki, Nina, did you want to, not Nina, why am I skipping your name? Did you want to go further about the fibromyalgia?
Okay, yes. So shall I tell you about the side effects of the fibromyalgia?
I would love to hear from it.
Yeah. So the side effects mainly for me are fatigue and pain. So I have a lot of times where I have to sleep and take time out of my day where I have to actually go to bed because I'm so fatigued. And then when you wake up, you don't really feel any more refreshed than when you went to sleep. And then you get an awful lot of pain all over your body as well.
So with the fibromyalgia, I have found a target for it. And I actually have written a complex document, and I'm going to sit down with you as soon as possible. We're going to go through that. But as I can recall from the document, fibromyalgia is an autoimmune disorder, and it is when the nerves, the pain, especially the pain nerves, become overly excited. And it can literally come down to someone can hug you. They have people with fibromyalgia who can't stand to be hugged. Is that your case, or is not so bad?
No, I don't mind being hugged. I find that what brings it on with me is stress.
Well, hi.
Stress.
Hi, buddy. Come here.
Okay, here, let me mute Ken. All right, sorry about that.
Right.
So you don't have a problem with being hugged, but there was something I was finding out about it. Unless I go into the document, there's no need for me to attempt to reach for that right now at this given point. But you are here. You're looking lovely and happy today. So let's hope and anticipate you are on your pathway and that you're going to stay on this healthy, happy pathway. Now, I did find out that with the two main conditions you have, it will take a period of 3 to 4 weeks before you are on the pathway to the healing. I think we can create that healing in a shorter period of time and get you firmly on this pathway, recognizing your body is being healed and that you'll be able to maintain that because you've already, because of the celiac disease, you've already been able to maintain a pretty strict diet. Am I correct?
Yeah. I can't eat barley, wheat, or rye. And I am really strict with that, yeah.
All right. Well, 3 lovely ladies in the house. Anybody else have any other comments or questions?
Hey, Katie, this is Mike.
Yes, Mike. Great to have you in the house, Mike. What's on your mind today?
Well, I wasn't going to get on here because it's a little noisy where I'm at. But
Okay.
basically, I came down with Eric for the program, and since I started the program, I think it'll be about 6 weeks on Tuesday, and I've lost like 21 pounds so far.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
pretty impressive.
yes, yes, definitely.
To what do you attribute losing so much weight? It's in such a short period of time.
Basically, changing up of the diet, for the most part. I would, 90% I would say that, and then also exercise has played a big part of it. But yeah, just eating the vegan lifestyle, eliminating sugar and dairy out of my diet.
Awesome, awesome. Now, since you have returned from Las Vegas to Columbus, I take it that you have been very strict in maintaining what you did learn out here.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. That's the only way that you're gonna keep making progress. So you got to keep doing what's been working for you. So yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
I've been pretty much keeping the same lifestyle that I had when I was down there.
Mm-hmm. Now, from my understanding, you had, by the time you left Los Angeles, you had quit using any high blood pressure medication. How's that situation turning out?
Well, once I got back home and I was monitoring my blood pressure, and I was at the point where I was kind of like taking it every other day,
Mm-hmm.
but recently I haven't took my blood pressure medicine in 5 days.
5 days you're not taking the blood pressure medicine. And does your doctor agree with the strategies?
Yes, yes, yes. But she does want me to come in and have a conversation with her, and she wants to make sure that I'm monitoring my blood pressure every day, and you know, uh, so we have a handle on it and make sure
Mm-hmm.
that things are going the way they're supposed to.
Good, good, good. Well, I hope you will do what I was able to do when going in to visit the doctor. My doctor was actually, is actually Dr. Sherilyn Lee, who treated me after the car accident. She's a wonderful, wonderful friend. She was our children's pediatrician as well. And when I went in to talk with my doctor, I took her in 2 plates of living superfood. And I did it the next day and the next day. And finally, she told me, will you please bring in 15 plates because I want to share it with all of my clients. So maybe when you go in to see your doctor, you'll take her some living superfood.
All right, it sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I hear that. I want to say I am proud of you, Brother Michael. Your story is a success story that I would be proud to share with so many other people. In fact, oh, you guys haven't seen the new book. Your names are in the book. Michael and Glenn, or Eric, Eric, you are in the book. I hope you don't mind.
No, I'll leave my autograph with you so that.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a copy of Suicide. It's
Yeah.
going to go out as soon as I can get to the post office. You're going to love it. And, I'm very grateful for you two brothers for allowing me to tell part of your story for the rest of the world to be inspired by.
Yeah, yeah. I'm want to get a copy of that book to aside because I've been telling a lot of people about it. So yeah, that I would love to get my hands on that.
Good, 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 good. Suicide. When food is so absolutely tasty that it's to die for, that's suicide. Nina, did you have a question or a comment? Oh, you're muted right now.
No, I was just paying attention.
Oh, okay. I thought you were leaning in because you wanted to get.
I do want to say one thing though. It was day one for this yesterday, and we weren't sure what to expect, but it was a lot more doable than we thought. You know, we had this image in our heads that we were going to be eating cut up carrots and things, and that's how we envisioned raw to be, but it was totally different. Food was really tasty, well explained, and we all went home feeling really good yesterday.
Good. Well, today I'm going to feed you cut up carrots.
Want more mangoes?
But I'm going to feed you cut up carrots and cut up celery along with herbed veganaise. So the herbed veganaise is made from sprouted organic tofu, and it's got herbs in it fresh from the garden. You see, I have a garden.
Yeah.
And we're going to put fresh herbs in it. It's going to be incredibly tasty. And so I am going to feed you cut up carrots.
Spoke to you soon.
That's a good thing. Awesome. We got enough time for a few more questions. Anybody, anything, hit me with your best shot.
Hey, Keely, this is Eric.
Yes, sir.
I need to get a couple of copies of the recipes that you had sent by my way. I had given a copy to one of the doctors here that attend my church. He was very intrigued with what it is that I was doing and wanted to know more about what who you are and what you do. And so I'd like to get another copy of that recipe book if that's possible.
Okay, Living Superfood Recipes Volume 1. Am I correct, or Volume 2?
I think it was Volume 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I will make sure I get that to you as soon as I possibly can. You can always order it from my website, and I'll put that up in the chat that you can order it from the website. But as I say, I will be sending you a free copy of Chew Aside, and I think there's enough room in the package. I'm going to throw in another recipe book called Soul Food, or Transforming Soul Food for the Body, Mind, and Spirit. And it's got 25 of my favorite vegan soul food restaurants, recipes in it. And if there's anything beyond that, we'll work it out.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you being on your mission. You are a good brother, and I appreciate you for all that you do for all of us. Okay, are we finished with the questions? I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Oh, I said I was going to go back to the presentation. If you don't mind, I'm going to go back just a little bit. I'm going to turn a few more pages because the next section of my PowerPoint presentation actually does deal with nutrition as our target. So I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to click on this, boom, and I'm going to click on that, boom, and I'm going to serve up another short bit of my presentation on the food, and we are back in, and you should be able to see the screen right now. Am I correct? Okay. Herbal supplements to prevent or treat a cancer diagnosis. There is a strong history for the therapeutic function of traditional Chinese medicine in advanced cancer patients, elderly patients, or in those for whom radiation and chemotherapy are unsuitable. Notably, with few adverse reactions, traditional Chinese medicine can stabilize tumor lesions, improve symptoms, and enhance the quality of life and prolong survival time. These herbs include Qinghua, which is also known as artemisinin, sweet wormwood, includes astragalus root, also known as huangqi, huangqing, Chinese skullcap, also known as bakel skullcap. Green tea is very powerful. Snake needle grass, called Odenlandia diffusa. Tian Min Dong, known as asparagus root, Gan Kao, licorice root, Fu Ling Poria, sea cucumber, Bai Hua She She Ka, Oldenlandia diffusa, and also Shashen turkey tail mushroom, and horny goat weed. Barrenwort has also been proven in peer-reviewed studies to be an effective natural cancer killer. Now, you may recognize horny goat weed from our research on longevity in the book called Living Superfood Longevity. I did list horny goat weed as one of 10 different remedies for women who are going through menopause. Believe it or not, horny goat weed, which is used for what the name suggests, horny goat weed is part of a woman's it's a natural, what they call them, hormone replacement therapy. And it does not have the very toxic side effects that are associated with the leading women's hormone replacement therapy. Traditional African herbal medicine for cancer. Traditionally, African herbal medicines used for cancer therapeutics or being investigated include plants like the Madagascar periwinkle, which is known for its role in childhood cancer treatment, and various other herbs reported in Kenya, such as burdock root and something, I don't know what that word is, and it's not correct. I'm gonna skip over it. African potato also includes Sutherlandia, which is obviously from South Africa, Sutherlandia. Bitter leaf, devil's claw, Adansonia digitata, roselle, baobab tree, I'm sorry, it's right there, baobab, roselle, which is hibiscus fruit, hibiscus juice, turmeric, which is curcuma longa, African ginger, Siphonochilus aethiopius, Kigelia, and also soursop, also known as graviola, and in Latin America, you know it as guanabana, burdock root, and that takes us through the traditional African herbs. Now, this is a very important part of this conversation, and I'm gonna get out of this in just a little bit, but this is very important. Is cancer a modern disease? Well, if we look at the etiology of cancer and we look at the epidemiology of cancer, we can see that cancer really kind of explodes in the industrial age. And from the year 1900 until current, cancer has proven to be a modern disease. The highest imaginable reward for this massive microbiological puzzle is to solve the challenge of cancer diagnosis that has become a plague upon humanity during my generation. In the opening chapters, we share insights regarding the shocking rates of diagnosis that cancer has become at this stage of human and technological evolution. As will be pointed out later, the spectrum of differential cancer types further adds to this sense of overwhelm that is plaguing our generation. Yet, as was pointed out, cancer is a modern disease. Therefore, something in or from the past holds the key to resolving this crisis. At this point, we might best to explore this past by putting a microscope on the subcellular processes that are involved in oncogenesis. The formation of cancer tumors and uncontrolled spread of the disease throughout the body that leads to morbidity and mortality. So cancer develops on a subcellular level. Presented in alphabetical order, these cancer-related subcellular processes and metabolic mechanisms include, in alphabetical order, apoptosis, autophagy. We study this in depth. I know Eric and Michael, you should recognize these terms. We spent a lot of time talking about them. Cell membrane, centrosomes, cytoplasm, cytoskeleton, endoplasmic reticulum, eukaryotes, and prokaryotes. That's a very important subject to understand this notion of what causes cancer. Exosomes, extracellular matrix, genetic mutations that disrupt normal cell functions, the Golgi apparatus, histones, integrin beta-1 receptor, intracellular parasites, lipid wraps, lysosomes, mitochondria, nucleus, peroxisomes are cellular organelles, plasma membrane proteins, PKC iota, signaling molecules, telomeres, and vesicles. These are all components that are subcellular components that are related to the etiology of cancer. Let's talk about this a little bit more. Regenerative medicine has not only the potential to repair damaged tissues, but also to create new therapies that can target cancer at its source. From Dr. Anthony Atala, director at Wake Forest Institute for Regenerative Medicine. Regenerative preventive, I'm going to always fall forward to the 7 principles of optimal health. This was presented in my book called Living Superfood Research. The 7 principles are the breath. Mastery of the breath is key to conquering cancer, especially if we understand the work of Dr. Otto Warburg, who won 2 Nobel Prizes in the 1930s for telling us what caused cancer. Hydration, optimized nutrition, sleep, rest, exercise, fasting, and detoxification. And the last part of this 7 principles is our mind-body matrix. New frontiers in regenerative medicine. Now, this is all new, and I hope you can just stick with me for just a few more minutes. I started adding all of this just 2 days ago. One of the key areas of regenerative medicine and cancer treatment is stem cell therapy. Stem cells, which can differentiate into various cell types, can be used to regenerate healthy tissue and potentially replace cancerous cells. For example, in hematopoietic stem cell transplantation, high doses of chemotherapy or radiation destroy cancer cells, followed by the infusion of stem cells to rebuild the patient's blood and immune system. This approach is particularly effective in treating blood cancers like leukemia and lymphoma. However, although this is a new therapeutic technique, I do not believe in destroying the cells and then rebuilding. I am not an advocate for cut, burn, and poison, the triple toxic methods of Western medicine. So I do not adhere to that, yet I am reporting it to keep you up to date on it. New frontiers, adoptive cell therapy. This type of immunotherapy uses the patient's own T cells, a type of immune cell, to help the body fight diseases such as cancer. In cancer therapy, T cells are taken from the patient's blood or tumor tissue and treated in the laboratory with substances to better target and kill the patient's cancer cells. Large numbers of the treated T cells are then grown in the laboratory and given back to the patient to help the immune system fight the cancer. Types of adoptive cell therapy include chimeric antigen receptor T cell, CAR T cell therapy, and tumor infiltrating lymphocyte therapy. This is also called cellular adoptive immunotherapy and T cell transfer therapy. New frontiers, acupuncture, an ancient practice of traditional Chinese medicine, can complement cancer treatment by alleviating side effects and improving quality of life. It involves inserting thin needles into specific points on the body to stimulate nerve endings and promote natural healing. For cancer patients, acupuncture can help manage symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, and pain, often associated with chemotherapy and radiation. It can also reduce fatigue, improve mood, and enhance overall well-being. By promoting relaxation and reducing stress, acupuncture supports the body's immune system, potentially improving the effectiveness of conventional treatments. While not a cure, acupuncture offers a holistic approach to symptom management and patient comfort. New Frontiers hyperthermia. This is one that I like. Ancient medical wisdom points to using heat for maintaining vibrant health throughout the centuries. Modern medicine is just beginning to understand the details of how temperature affects body systems. One thing is clear, however, hyperthermia is a powerful modality for creating alkalinity in the body, for boosting the immune system and preventing and possibly even reversing cancer. Body temperature is part of our basic metabolism. When your overall body temperature is lowered by just 1 degree, there is a corresponding decline in immune system function. Studies point to the effectiveness of hyperthermia as an adjunct to more traditional cancer therapies. Hyperthermia is a powerful modality for creating alkalinity in the body, boosting the immune system, and preventing cancer. New frontiers include immunotherapy. The following is an excerpt from the article, Cancer Immunotherapy Principles and Practice. Here we go. The research clearly summarizes the basic principles and research supporting cancer immunotherapy clinical translation. Contains expert guidance and treatment strategies for all immunotherapy classes and agents, including cell-based therapies, monoclonal antibodies, cytokine therapies, checkpoint inhibitors, oncolytic viruses, adjuvant approaches, and treatment combinations. It includes expert perspectives from leading authorities in the field, provides information on all FDA-approved immunotherapies, including clinical management and outcome data, discusses clinical aspects of immunotherapy for individual cancer types, including melanoma and other skin cancers, lung cancers, gynecologic cancers, gastrointestinal cancers, hematologic cancers, genitourinary cancers, head and neck cancers, sarcomas, brain and other CNS cancers, central nervous system cancers, breast cancer, and pediatric malignancies. It also explains regulatory aspects behind the development and approval of immunotherapy drugs. That from Cancer Immunotherapy Principles and Practice, written by Lisa Butterfield, Howard Kaufman, Francesco Marincola, published by Springer Publishing Company, 2017. New Frontiers, we're almost through. Combination chemotherapy refers to the use of more than one chemotherapy medication at a time to treat cancer. In the past, cancer was often treated with a single drug, but current treatment for many types of cancers uses a combination of 2 or more different drugs simultaneously. Now, I will say that what I'm reading right now, we covered a little bit earlier when we talked about the drugs that cause cancer. And that they're talking about some of those drugs right now. I'm going to continue. Since chemotherapy drugs affect cancer cells at various points in the cell cycle, using a combination of drugs increases the chance that all cancer cells will be eliminated. But at the same time, however, using more than one drug has the disadvantage of increasing the risk of serious or perhaps fatal drug interactions. And if there is a problem, it may be hard to know which drug was at fault. This is a very risky strategy. We know that many of the chemotherapies for cancer are cytotoxic, meaning poisonous to the cells and tissues. Think this strategy out before committing to such potential destruction. I encourage you to get the new book, A Year Against Cancer, with Living Superfood Solutions. Our knowledge base about the very nature and logic of cancer increases year to year, decade after decade. Still, the risks and rates of diagnosis of nearly all types of cancer continue to rise, in direct contradiction to this expansion of scientific comprehension. What in the world is going on? And how can we, through deliberate strategies, counter this cancer dilemma? This book is proactive, it's inspiring, and intended to excite the reader to positive actions that will undeniably impact our healthy pathway forward. I am writing this book from the perspective of, quote, cutting edge research to serve an emerging leadership. I am also writing about my personal experiences in developing a precise health maintenance regimen using the Living Superfood 7 Principles of Optimal Health. Now it's time to share this powerful disease prevention protocol with the world. So you can go to http://kidi.biz CRP 2012, and then you can get access to this book, A Year Against Cancer. So on that note, I am going to hit the escape button over here, and we are going to end that presentation. I'm going to stop sharing, and I have time. We have 4 minutes left for any and all questions to put on the table. Anybody have anything to share with the audience about just nothing else? Tell me what you thought about the PowerPoint presentation.
Hi, Katie. I got my hand up, but I was just
Yes.
wanted to say I thought it was on point and very well presented. Still an opportunity to learn.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. We appreciate you always, Ken, for your ongoing support. And, you know, what can I say, man? I am with you. You are with us. And we plan on being the healthiest people in our group. All the people around us are going to look to us for what do you do to stay so healthy. I know they ask you that all the time, brother.
Yeah. My biggest personal inspiration for this was when I dealt with my father for helping with my mother when she was in her last 3 stages of her life. She had developed Lewy body dementia.
Mm-hmm.
And from some of the research that I had, she was always very active and exercising when she was working as a registered psychiatric nurse. But after she retired, she basically did an about change on some of that. And from what I understand, some of the things that my dad had to play kitchen cop with the put those little zip ties on the door handles.
Mm-hmm.
Because he would catch her sometimes inadvertently going through the cabinets and stuffing her mouth with stuff. That's part of how she gained some weight in there, but it kind of got me looking at my own diet and so forth. I'm still learning, but it was a wonderful experience, a life lesson in a way.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, through your mother's tragic experience, you are now enlightened. And I hope that you pledge to go out into the world. Your candle is lit. Touch your candle to all the unlit candles that you encounter. Therefore, we will have so much more light that we are sharing with each other.
Thank you, Katie. And by the way,
All right.
thank you for your kind support for my upcoming interviews too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Keep me abreast of what's going on.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'll have a blessed weekend.
Peace to you, Brother Ken. Anybody else? Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off at this point. Eric, did I see you wanted to share anything, or you got everything in for today? Okay. And I can't hear you. You're muted.
I just muted myself so that everybody else can speak. Okay.
Okay, Eric, I can't hear you. You're muted.
I'm muted. Okay. Can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
Okay, yeah. I'll text you my friend's name that's in California with the blood cancer of the blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that he's doing chemo for that. So I'll text you for that. And as always, man, thank you. Wonderful presentation, always informative, and I'll be in contact with you soon.
All right. Thank you, Eric, for tuning in today. Tell more people, if you can, they need to be with us on this Saturday call.
Absolutely.
Peace, Lion. And on that note, I think we got it all in. I want to thank you all for tuning in to today's presentation. We're going to be back next week. And I am asking you, if you can, I want the support. I need the support. You can do so by just simply ordering a book or 2 books. We got a lot to share with you on whatever specifics you aim to conquer in your life. Peace and prosperity we send to each and every one of you, and I will be with you again next week, same time, same channel.